If you want to know exactly what happened in the big flood, the one even higher than the historic flood in 1964, then this clip is for you. This is also the reason why my 100-day English speaking challenge got interrupted, because for 4 days straight there was no power and no water. I had to save my phone battery as much as possible to stay in touch with my family. This will be a long video and it's to make up for the days when I couldn't do the challenge because of things I couldn't control. On the morning of October 27, 2025, I started my day as usual with a visit to Ning'ung Pagoda. It was a rainy day, not heavy rain, but the wind was really strong. So everything was fine, except my guests had to struggle to take pictures in the rain and fight against the strong wind. My workday ended early because my group thought the weather was too bad and it wouldn't be a good idea to keep visiting Marble Mountains in that kind of weather, so I finished work early and went home. I got home around 6 p.m. and by then the flood water had already reached almost up to my knees. But it didn't feel like a big deal because it wasn't the first time I seen a flood. Every year, especially at the end of the year, the central region always gets floods. It looks like what you're seeing now. I'm really used to it. My house is over there, just a few more steps and I'll be home, so I just thought I'll go home, have a nice dinner, get some sleep, and by tomorrow, the rain and the flood would both be gone. The flood water was up to my knees by then. It had reached the sidewalk but hadn't gotten into my yard yet.
Bông ơi, bố về với bông đây. Ui may quá, nước trôi lên nhà. Trời ơi, nước trôi lên nhà, may quá. Ui. Bây giờ tình hình vẫn ổn đúng không? Nhưng mà nước thì đã mấp mé.
You can see that the road in front of my house is gone now. It's been 8 years since the 2017 flood, so at that moment I still thought this year's flood would only be about the same. So at that time everything still felt pretty positive because my wife had prepared a bit beforehand. We've got an uninvited guest, a crab, something you normally wouldn't see in your yard. Just 15 minutes later, the water has already come into the yard. Still okay, right? There's still one more step before it gets into my house. But I forgot one important thing. The water rose into my yard in just 15 minutes. Of course, I started to get worried, so the first thing I did was pump up this sub-blood. I knew I might need it later. The flood water was about to come into the house, so this was the last chance to move anything I could up to the second floor, and fast. Finally, what had to happen happened. The flood water officially came into the house, something hadn't happened in the past 8 years. We had already moved all the important and vulnerable things to the second floor, so the first floor was pretty empty. Still, we thought the water would only come in just like what you're seeing now. That would be the worst of it. That's what I thought, but I was wrong. The next creature show up.
Con chuột trời ơi. Ây giời ơi, nhìn cảnh này, nghĩ đến cái đoạn mà dọn cũng đã thấy ngại rồi.
The flood water kept rising, and soon we couldn't see the floor anymore. A little while later, the power went out. This was the last thing we did on the first day we were cut off. Do you know what we were doing? The fridge was too heavy, and we didn't have enough time to take everything out of it, so we decided to put something on top to make it heavier, just to keep it standing and stop it from falling over. And that's how the first day ended. This was our temporary bathroom on the second floor. The dog eating cat food. It's leftover cat food, not rat poop, okay? Day 2 started with checking the water level. It had risen even higher than yesterday, and the bridge has fallen over anyway. But whatever, people say it's better to just leave it like that than to open it and ruin the whole thing. To kill time, since there was nothing else to do, my daughter drew pictures by the window, and I decided to do something stupid. I paddled the boat outside and got caught in the flood. I almost couldn't make it back home. Now the first problem showed up. On the first day, we were too busy moving things, and we thought the flood would last only 2 days at most, so we forgot to prepare enough food for several days. So we only had a few packs of instant noodles, some drinking water, and lots of biscuits. That's how day 2 ended. The flood water didn't go down and we couldn't go outside because the current was so strong. You get swept away if you got caught in it. By the first day of being cut off, we was getting really sick of eating instant noodles for all 3 meals. After having instant noodles for breakfast, we was really lucky. A distant relative who lives across the street ran over and brought us some food. It was bone porridge, which was like getting warm charcoal on a snowy day. Outside, the rain kept pouring non-stop. We didn't know what else to do but wait. The fridge just kept floating back and forth. All activities took place upstairs, even the dogs peeing and pooping. We played tic-tac-toe to kill time again. This was the best thing of the day. The relative I told you about kept wading through the water up to their shoulders, crossing the streets and bringing us food. Even though we had a bunch of food in the fridge, first, we couldn't open it without risking it breaking completely, and second, we used electric stove, so we couldn't cook. Getting to eat rice after 2 days of instant noodles was really amazing. According to the information we got, the flood water might even rise higher tonight, so we had to go downstairs and keep bringing some important stuff up to the second floor. As you can see now, the water level has gone down a bit. It's still very dangerous to be outside on the streets, but inside the house, the water is only up to our knees. That day, for some reason, there was a lot of small stuff, like spices, cooking things, and bottles that we clearly could have brought up to the second floor, but we didn't, which made cleaning up later really tiring. Some furniture made of particle board will be ruined if it gets flooded because it's walls, but the wedding bed made of solid wood is fine. This part feels like we are on an adventure, but actually it's a bit creepy because sometimes your feet touch a plastic bag or some creature that you don't usually see. Okay, that's all for day 3. Day 4, October 30th. 2025 had 2 main events. First, the water level went higher than the historic flood in 1964. Last night, it reached 5.61 meters. That means the Tấn Ký Asian house will now have more marks on its walls for visitors to see in the future. And in Hội An, the flood water rose to 3.5 meters, a new record after 60 years. The next news is a good one. The water has started to go down slowly. That means today we can finally go outside. Right now, I'm collecting rainwater to save the tap water for daily use because you never know when the tap water will come back. In the evening, when the water got below our knees, we had to start sweeping the soft mud out of the house. If we did not, it would dry up and become really hard to clean later. It was really a tiring day for both of our backs. Oh my god, I really don't want to remember that scene at all. Early the next morning, after 4.5 days stuck inside, we finally gotta go out. The streets were all covered in soft mud. Trucks were everywhere along the main road. Right now, my family was on the way to my grandparents' house to see how things were over there. Some low-lying places still had not drained, like this road leading into Hội An's old town. This is a park where many people park their cars, and I think they are all flooded. For valuable things like cars, getting them to a repair shop as soon as you can get out of the house is something you need to do right away. We got to my grandparents' house and everything was a mess. Even the wooden chairs had ended up on the land author. The cleanup started this morning. Right now the thing we needed most was a water pump. We were going to check how much water has gotten into the car. It was so frustrating. I didn't even want to talk. A sadness that hard to put into words. You can only show it with money, and a lot of money. My neighbor's car, which was parked next to mine, got washed over here. This area was supposed to hold 4 scooters for my family and my grandparents, but they were all underwater. Suddenly, I felt my wallet hurting. My brother-in-law and I rinsed the scooter a bit before pushing them back home. Even though we were sad, we still had to smile to keep our energy up for the work. Here comes the sad part. All the diapers got soaked. Each part had 6 bags, containing 1 million Vietnam dong, and all 20 parts here were ruined and had to be thrown away. At this point, my wife was really sad and cried. Even though we had saved most of our stuff by moving it to the second floor, this leftover part, which we thought would be safe in the car, got ruined. The damage to our goods was about 20 million Vietnam dong. We had to throw everything into the trash. There was no other choice. The people around was making use of the diapers that were not completely soaked yet, probably to wipe the floor. At least they could still be useful one last time. My wife and I was bringing back whatever we could still use to the house. Right now we were trying to fix the only scooter we had to get around. Look at how much mud came out of the scooter. It took quite a bit of time, but finally the scooter started working again. We went back home and started cleaning up this mess, but there was no water. This is soft mud. If you don't clean up right now, you will regret it. Doing it this way with a water pump is a lot easier. Just keep going. The house will be clean like before. Finally, the tow truck arrived, and I found my wallet hurting for the second time. That's everything I want to remember about this historic flood. Anyway, we were still luckier than a lot of people. My family is okay. The story ends here. See you next time.